Stroganoff is a timeless family favourite dish, and usually you would make the stew and then serve it with some mash or some pasta, but I wanted to really simplify it and make it into a wonderful one-pan wonder where you're not only cooking the protein and the sauce together, but you're also adding the pasta. So this is my one-pan chicken and risoni stroganoff. Usually stroganoff is made with beef, but my recipe calls for chicken. So we need to season our chicken with a good pinch of salt and some pepper. And I've developed this recipe so it's completely freezer friendly. It's actually out of my new book called Cook Ahead. So it's got lots of wonderful freezer friendly recipes that are great for every single budget. So once you've added the salt and pepper, we're just going to give that a toss. And I've been preheating a sauté pan. We'll add a glug of extra virgin olive oil. And we can start cooking the chicken. I've got quite a large sauté pan here, so I'm going to add all the chicken at once. Now, my preference is to use chicken thigh for this. It's much more forgiving, and it's going to cook evenly with the risoni, so nothing is overcooked. So while that's cooking, I've got 2 cloves of garlic, and I'll just bruise them. And then we're just going to roughly chop it. Now, if you did want to change up the protein, you could absolutely do this the classic way with some beef. I would recommend just using some rump steak or some fillet of beef would also work a treat too. If you wanted to make this vegetarian, which I have done many times, I would up the mushrooms. So traditionally in a stroganoff, you add a little bit of mushroom, so a handful, which is what I'm using. But if you wanted to make this the star of the show, double the mushrooms. It's absolutely delicious. All right, that's looking good. Let's turn our chicken over. Good colour. Now, because this is all about midweek cooking, speedy cooking, I'm not going to take the chicken out and then add the onions. I'm just going to add it all at once. So once you've turned the chicken over to get some colour on the other side, in goes an onion. And we just want to get some heat into the onions along with some salt and some pepper. And now you want to cook this for about 3 to 4 minutes, then we continue on with the garlic. Don't add the garlic yet because it may burn. All right, these onions are looking good, so in with our 2 cloves of garlic and paprika. I'm using sweet paprika. I like the sweet paprika for this recipe because it's actually quite mild, so it's not going to be too overpowering, particularly if you want the kiddies to eat this. This is really kiddie friendly. I'll also add some tomato paste, and with the tomato paste, do allow that to cook off slightly. I'm now adding some wine. You can totally leave out the wine if you prefer, but I am cooking off the alcohol, so we'll just give that a stir and let that bubble away. While that's bubbling away, our mushrooms are gorgeous, fresh mushrooms here. You don't need to peel them, and we'll just cut them in half. If they're quite large, then we can just quarter them. These can now go in. You can see how it's really starting to bulk out now, this recipe. All right, time for our stock. So we'll need about 3 cups of stock. And then in with our risoni, so about 1 1/4 cups. And we'll just rain that in. Give that a stir so it's completely mixed in. Popping the lid on, and this is going to cook for about 20 to 25 minutes or until that risoni is completely cooked and all of that liquid has been absorbed by the risoni too. While that's cooking, I'm going to prepare a really simple garnish that I find makes this extra special. It's a combination of red onions, gherkins and dill. Okay, let's have a look at our risoni stroganoff. It smells fantastic. You can see all of that liquid has been absorbed by the risoni, and now we can stir it and just fold everything in. It's not finished yet. We need to add a key ingredient to any stroganoff, which is sour cream. So a generous dollop of sour cream can go in. And I like to start in the centre so we don't get any lumps and just fold that in. As you stir that sour cream in, it almost looks like a risotto, which is perfectly fine. Okay, if I was serving this at home, this goes in the middle of the table, but I'm going to plate one up for you. So a few big spoonfuls. And you can see it's the perfect amount of liquid to risoni ratio. It's not too dry and it's also not too wet. It's just right. And I love this because every mouthful is interesting. You've got big chunks of chicken, big chunks of that lovely mushroom in there. And my little one would only eat it as is. But if you want to make it a little more adult, then this is where the garnish comes in, and it is so delicious. What I've done is just thinly sliced some onion, added some salt so it just breaks down slightly, some lemon, and the pickles in there. So we've got really strong flavours here that are going to contrast the creaminess of our risoni. So we'll just pop that on top. Don't forget some of those little pickles, or cornichons these are, because they're the small ones. And then stroganoff is not a stroganoff, in my opinion, without some dill. So I'm just going to pick some dill over the top. I just love dill with the sour cream. That is a delicious dish from my new cookbook, Cook Ahead. And the best part of this is you can make a big batch and it freezes really well. So it's all about cooking once and eating twice. Make a big batch of this, pop it in the freezer in batches, and if you want a really quick dinner in the middle of the week, you simply thaw it, reheat it. It is super delicious.